Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss conditional sentences. Conditional sentences are normally different from normal sentences. That there is another variety of sentence which you have studied from school days. That is simple sentence, and then complex sentence, and then compound sentence, right? Simple sentence is subject, then verb, then object. Complex sentence with a mixture actually. Complex sentence contains two parts. First is that's a uh, dependent clause and then independent clause, right? And third sentence variety of sentences, that is compound sentence, means as name suggests that two sentences are joined by and, but, however, although, though, these kind of sentences. That's a third variety. Conditional sentences come under or known as complex sentences. Why? Because the structure of such kind of sentences is little bit complex. Conditional sentences are, we use condition in our colloquial life or daily routine, daily life. Every now and then frequently we use conditions, and that's why conditional sentences are very important part of our language acquisition, right? Now, usually we use four types of conditions. First condition is zero condition, then first conditions, then second condition, then third condition. Instead of indulging much with the name, we just have to remember what is the formula and what is the, for example, when do we use zero condition, when first condition, when second condition, and all conditions formula are very important, right? So first let us take zero condition. Zero condition is, yes, one more thing let me tell you, that is conditional sentences are divided into two parts, right? Each conditional sentence contains two part. First is called if clause or dependent clause. If clause is dependent clause, and another part is called independent clause, right? So if clause is dependent on independent clause. That happens in every conditional sentence, right? Now let us take zero conditional sentence. So what is important? Zero conditional sentence is used for, in black color you must have noticed that is used for general truth. In fact, that is used for truth, right? Every truth, scientific truth, general truth, that is used for truth. Now, what's the formula of zero conditional sentence? That is simple present tense. Simple present tense, you know that. Subject plus first form of verb. Please take care. That is called simple. First form of verb, when first form of verb is used, that is called simple present tense, right? Will be followed by the same simple present tense. So zero conditional sentence, you don't have to remember much. You just have to remember that first form of verb is used for conditional sentence. And interesting part is that both the structure, like for if clause, which is dependent clause, and another part is independent clause, and the structure of dependent clause and independent clause is same, right? That is what? That is simple present tense and simple present tense. Example is that any truth you can take: if you don't water the plants, they die, right? Here you have seen that if you don't water the plant, they die. That is an open condition, right? So please take care when you use it. So you don't have to put much mind. You just have to much you don't have to apply much brain. You just have to remember that that's a simple present tense and simple present tense. So that is the first conditional sentence, right? Now come to the first okay, we can take another example also for zero conditional sentence. If I drink too much coffee, right, I cannot sleep at night. One thing here I would like to tell you that is if clause, the position of if clause can be changed. Here I have given example that if I drink too much coffee, I cannot sleep at night. So let me tell you that here first form of verb, apart from all main verbs, any main verbs are limitless, main verbs cannot be counted. But apart from main verb, please take a note that four models also use four models, and then the past form of models. These four models are also used for conditional sentences. What are they? Can, may, will, and shall. Please take care. Can, may, will, and shall. Right? These are also used for conditional sentences. So, what I have said just now, that is extra information, that for conditional sentences you just have to remember that if the position of if clause can be changed, it can be added afterwards. When first you can use independent clause and then if clause, or in the beginning you can start sentence with if clause then independent clause. So dependent clause and independent clause position can be changed. So another example, for example, you can see I smells. This is I smells. One more thing, let me clear here. That's a independent clause. Independent clause means which is not dependent on other clause, and which has clear meaning. So here you see in this sentence, you just listen. I haven't written here. You just listen. I smells. That's I smells makes complete sense. So that is called independent clause. If you heat it, that is also truth. So ice melts, comma, if you heat it. That is the example of zero conditional sentence. I am repeating. First zero condition example of first zero condition is if you don't water the plants, they die. First condition in dependent clause is that if clause is if you don't water the plants, right? So don't is the first form of verb, right? They die, die is also first form of verb. So that's the first condition. Another example we have taken, if I drink too much coffee, right? Drink is first form of verb. I cannot sleep at night. Can, I just told you that four models are also very important for conditional sentences, which are just now I told you that can, may, will, and shall. Any one of the models can be used for the sentence, right? So that is called. Another example, if I drink too much coffee, I cannot sleep at night. And third example, I smells if you don't heat it, right? And then sometimes sentences, if clause or when clause, that is when is also used for condition. So you can use, and that's a sentence is that when the sun goes down, when the sun goes down, what is going to be done? It gets dark. right? So first is condition, another part is called result, right? So this way also zero condition or conditional sentences can be used with when clause, right? When the sun goes down, it gets dark, right? So that is called zero condition. Now moving to another one, that's a first conditional sentence. So I would like to listen your query. Um, uh, I would like to solve your query. So if you have any query, you're most welcome. Please write here, so I would reply, right? Now another next condition is that first we have to know that first condition, when first condition is used in black color, you must have noticed that that's called open condition. Outcome is likely to happen, right? Open condition, exams are going on, many students are writing exam, right? So you can see here your parents are making you aware or are giving you warning, if you don't study you will fail in the exam. This is called first condition. If you don't study you will fail in the exam. So let us see what's the structure of first conditional sentence. That's the first part. If clause is framed with simple present tense. Please take care. If clause is framed with the simple present tense, simple present means first form of verb. Will be followed by. Will be followed by, which are very important. Earlier I mentioned that that's a four models are also used. So it may be followed by sometime will, shall, can or may. For depends on the situation, context. So sometime will be for dependent clause. Will can be used sometime, shall sometime, can or sometime may, right? Depends on the situation. So let us see the example. If you take some medicines, you will feel better, right? So that if someone is sick, you are suggesting if you take some medicines, not can, sorry. If clause is also always made in first condition, if clause is also always framed with present tense. So if you take some medicines, then another part you will feel better, right? Another example we can say that here, if I have time, I will finish that letter, right? That is also another example. Yes, for beginners I told you that that is called if clause or when clause, but it's not necessary that all conditions can be framed with only with the word only when or if. Sometime even another word. For example, I'm giving you another example. What will you do if you miss the plan? That is actually question, right? So that's the independent clauses. What will you do, right? So this way also condition is framed. Then definitely will is already used. So then if clause, for if clause, if you miss the plan, right? And then nobody will notice. Another example I'm telling you, nobody will notice if you don't make a mistake, right? So if clause, when clause we can say, or position of if clause can be changed. These are the small things in between I'm telling you. Now I'm coming to the point. We were discussing first conditional sentence. You just have to remember one thing. What is this? That is structure. Structure is that for if clause you just have to use simple present tense, and simple present tense means first form of verb. And it will be followed by will or shall or can or may. These four models you have to remember, right? So first part is simple present tense, second part is simple future tense, right? Future actually it's not only simple future tense. Second part is future. Why I am telling you future? Because in Hindi generally we assume that's a will. For example, what mistake we can do or we generally do, that's a if you will not study, listen carefully, if you will not study, you will fail. Here in both the part of the sentences, we are using will, but it's wrong, right? हिंदी में इसका वर्जन होता है कि अगर तुम मेहनत नहीं करोगे तो तुम फेल हो जाओगे, इसीलिए उसमें सिंपल फ्यूचर टेंस लिखा है. लेकिन वो गे वाला इट्स ऑलवेज नॉट गे, राइट? इट्स ऑलवेज हो सकते हो, इट ऑलवेज हो जाओगे, राइट? तो गे से ही एंड सेंटेंस एंड होगा ऐसा नहीं है, बट येस नॉर्मली वी यूज़ इन हिंदी दैट अगर आप हार्ड वर्क नहीं करोगे तो आप फेल हो जाओगे, दिस वे, राइट? नाउ कम टू द एग्जाम्पल हियर, इफ यू take some medicines, right? So that's a simple present tense, you will feel better, right? Another example, if you don't leave I will call police. कहते हैं निकल जाओ यहाँ से, अगर यहाँ नहीं जाओगे तो मैं पुलिस को बुला लूँगा. तो ग हिंदी में होता है, बट इंग्लिश में सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर इज डिफरेंट. फर्स्ट इज सिंपल, नो विल और शेल कैन बी यूज in the beginning if clause, and then will be followed by, of course, will be followed by sometime will, sometime shall, sometime can, and sometime may, right? So I think you must have got it. Now next condition, that is second conditional sentence. Second conditional sentence, let us jump to black part, that is close condition. You are too late now, nothing can be done. That's a close condition, because everything is, there's no chance to improve, or everything is close. For that situation, when situation is closed, is such kind of second kind conditional sentence is used here. That's a hypothetical situations or unrealistic event, or that's that are not likely to ever happen are mentioned. Means second condition is used, second types of sentences are used for close situation, close like hypothetical situations or close situations which we just assume, right? Unrealistic events that are not likely to even happen are mentioned. So sometime it is not going to be happen, but then we just assume. Let's example first, let us take, then you will be able to understand. That is if I won the lottery, that's just hypothetical or unrealistic situation. I would buy, will, then will become past tense of will is would. So I would buy all famous supercars, right? That is just हवा में किले बनाना. So when we make such type of like castle in air, जब हम हवा में किले बनाते हैं, तो then we use such kind of sentences. Another example, let us take, if we had a garden, I live in flat, for example, and I'm thinking, if I had a garden, we could have a cat, we could have cow, we could have a cow, we could have a dog, we could have dogs, right? Anything that is just hypothetical situation, or that is sometime unrealistic, not possible, even not going to be done, but we are just imagine, right? So for these kind of sentences we use such types of sentences, these kind of situation we use such types of sentences. Now next is that for this condition we can see another example, that is, for example, if I lived in a big city I would go out more often, right? अगर मैं बड़ी सिटी में रहता तो मैं और बार बार बाहर जाता. So that is just imagination, right? So that is called type 2 conditional sentences. So you must have noticed that that's different from, because in this sentence past tense is used, right? Past tense. And structure of second conditional sentence is that that's a here actually mistake is done. It's not simple present tense, so please make it correct. That's a simple past tense. Won. If I won the lottery, not win the lottery. If I won the lottery, that's a simple past tense. And model auxiliary, that is would, could, should, or might, right? So please make it correct, right? So that is called second condition. Now come to the third conditional sentence, very important, that is just for imagination, right? Imagination is what? Imagination is, that is, for example, if the teacher had informed us earlier, we could have finished it in time. बहुत important, very important. Such kind of sentences are often asked, right? So let me first let me correct second wala sentence ka correction I am doing, because don't get confused, here it is not correct. Simple past tense, right? So now I am repeating second conditional sentence. The structure of second conditional sentence is simple past tense will be followed by modern auxiliary. Example is, if I won, win का पास होता है, won the lottery, I would buy all the famous supercars. And another example, suppose your exams have finished, right? And your father said that if you और आपका result आ गया, so then your father may say that if you studied hard, now chances not in your hand, nothing can be done. But then your father is saying that if you worked hard, if you studied hard, right, you would get better result, right? So that situation is done, nothing can be undone now, but then just imagination or hypothetical situation. So for hypothetical situation, please take care, I made it clear, I corrected this sentence. That's a structure of second conditional sentence is simple present past tense, sorry, simple past tense will be followed by model auxiliary. Model auxiliary first में भी आ जाएगा actually, simple past future tense है, that is also called model auxiliary, right? And now last condition, that is again very important, because that is used for imagination and our brain many a times imagines. For example, first structure is very very important, please take care. So let us discuss structure. Past perfect tense, past perfect tense, and as past perfect tense this phrase come, then immediately you have to have idea, that is head, HAD, head, which is the past tense of have or has, right? So head, first if clause will be framed with the help of head, will be followed by could have, should have, right, might have, or that is called uh, could have, would have, should have, might have, depends on the situation, right? So what is this example? If the teacher had informed us earlier, अगर मुझे teacher पहले बता देती, right? So if a teacher had informed us earlier, we could have finished it in the time, right? तो हम क्या करते, उसको टाइम पे फिनिश कर लेते. ये जो सेंटेंस है, that is another example. If I had worked harder, कुछ भी नहीं है, just imagination. If I had worked harder, I would have passed the exam. However, I did not work hard and I did not pass the exam. It's already done. That is just imagination, right? Another example. If I had known you were coming, I would have baked a cake, but that's just hypothetical or imagination or hypothetical situation, right? Suppose, very easy example or practical example I would like to give you, and then I sum up this session. That is, if you imagine, you are just imagine that someone is performed in on the stage, and you are thinking that if I had if I had trained this way, I would have performed like anything. अगर मुझे ऐसा कोई बहुत अच्छा ट्रेंड करता, तो आई वुड हैव परफॉर्म लाइक एनीथिंग. सो राइट, so these all kind of imaginations are used for conditional sentences. So thank you so much, all the best. Leave your query in box, and I would like to address it. Thank you so much.